The other night, I was running something through my mind. Uh, Somebody had published on the Thomas Sheridan Facebook group. It might have been Thomas himself posting some UAP activity in the sky, running around, looking like a little cluster in, doing coordinated maneuvers and such, right? And I said to myself, what this has been looking like for a while, was Close Encounters of the Third Kind, right? We have seen a tremendous amount of the activity of the lights in the storm clouds with what seems like very Fortean paranormal weather. Then you have the seeing the anomalies coming in and out of the clouds as such. Then we also have the claims of a great mothership of some sort, a home base that has to be these origin. Now that's what's very interesting, right? No, there hasn't. There doesn't have to be any of that at all. If if somebody's got enough fucking batteries and like, I get it because you saw them all the way out there as such. But still, there are many an explanation, but you have to make that explanation because you are not paid to say that this is unexplainable enough where I'm forced to allow the Fortean and paranormal subject matter to arise. So, predictive programming is the matter in which it helps these things. And we have the matter of the entities that have always been with us. The matter of the phenomenon that has always been with us. That's what we are ultimately discussing. Are these things that have always been with us. And they kind of change form, they kind of don't. And I've already said that this thing happening over the month of December in New Jersey that has now come to an end as far as it being a New Jersey overwhelming phenomenon. It's actually still ongoing, just peppered here and there, but still just enough of it, because it's all feeling ultra. What are you doing? Ultra connected. It's a three-way stop sign there, and she was rolling out despite me having right of way. So, anyway. Ooh, there's a lot of construction going on here. They are and have had to reface downtown Portchester for the last couple of years because they really fucking failed when they installed the fucking waterfront. It was okay in the very beginning because you had the two diners, you had the stores, certain stores upstairs that were really neat, and stores downstairs. Like I got my third bearded dragon, and his name was Connor, from the pet store there, and I also got Locke from the pet store over there. Both of them were somewhat of rescues. So yeah, it's not a surprise. I mean, it was Petco. Petco is going out of business because sadly corporate doesn't give a fuck about standards about how they handle the live animals they sell. Anyway, So, if you watch Close Encounters of the Third Kind, you see literally all of this activity in that movie. We are, and we're seeing it on a pseudo mainstream media, a tentative scale. And all over everybody who talks about all these things, which is now everybody. Because everybody cares about everybody's witness now, right? Witness is being heard. If you don't, and by witness, I mean that under a very specific context because of the things I appreciate learning from James True. And James True has a whole dissertation on the power of witness, because the power of witness is also associated not just with us seeing what you have manifested, but for me to show you what I can manifest. And right now, the unconscious is pushing itself out through the sentient plasma, and it is taking form as per our anxieties, right? You're seeing physical thought forms in the sky. Somebody's physical thought forms are convalescing, and and people that know whoever this person who's unconsciously doing it is are capable of seeing them. Probably because they're a neighbor that they never fucking talk to, right? And that's why it's happening, because you're ignoring an egregore in your community. You're ignoring a big cultural egregore that has an important reason it needs to get your attention. So this is like a daemon, and it's doing a thing. And if you do not satiate your daemon, it's going to turn into a demon. Right? And that's not what you want. Because this is not the kind of demon you can just put a pentagram banishing ritual on, because you will confuse it as yourself, or as a friend, you will lie to yourself because you think you're dealing with a spirit that is human like you, because you like a certain aspect of attention that your daemon is giving you that is similar to the attention that humans give you. Right? This is when the troubled boy has the imaginary friend who causes trouble on behalf of the friend. Right? It says, like, it gets there. It's just like the beast is just like, this is my new friend. Oh, this person made my friend sad. He will love it if I destroy the person that made my friend sad. Right? Without understanding all sorts of things, right? This is Fenrir off the chain. Supposed to transmute this into the Veda Saga, right? This is going and finding the purified white wolf within. The black wolf is a manifestation of your blackening phase. You don't stay in the blackening phase, but you must go through it. That's why, for a time, the earth will seem black, because that's what you're going through, and you can make terrible decisions with the state of the black and go further into it, or you can transcend the state of the black. But you don't forget the state of the black. And even if you're wearing all black like I am, you're just not transcending it, right? But your aesthetic choice means something, right? And I mean, you're gonna have to wear a color every day, and just like For me to sit there and say you gotta stop wearing black once you're done with your blackening phase is me saying like, okay, oh, now that you found freedom, it's time to live by dictates, right? Okay, see, just you should never wear a color that isn't in these chakras. Like like that. That's fine for a while. That's fine for a while. And maybe it's fine because somebody has found their forever life that they want to have. I don't have a forever life that I want to have. I'm not interested in finding a day where I wake up and I'm doing the same thing every fucking day. With the exception of a thing that is different every day. Like if I have to go out and make music and I got to play the same set list every day for that tour, that's fine because there's so many different things happening. There's so much freedom happening within that structure of daily I get to go out because it's going to be different people. It's the same for you, but you're in a different place. You're surrounded by different people, right? And you're leaving a part of the world that you can create behind every time you do that. My voice is like Seth Rollins. I suppose I can see that. I don't spend enough time listening to myself outside of this, so, I hear my voice in my head the way that I hear it. But anyway, I'm going to finish on... let me finish on this point. I actually have a profound point I want to make here. So, the UFO phenomenon in Close Encounters of the Third Kind, Spielberg, his connections to the deep state via Amblin and all of his alien productions, right? Like, most of mainstream alien mythology is incepted under the sources by which Spielberg has never been questioned about the film that he made, right? I mean, granted, we're talking about some very, very basic things, but it leaves out a lot of secretly known history in those films, right? So anyway, here's the deal. The reason why this movie in particular is such a goddamn UFO cult movie is because they do a whole fucking ritual at the end of the film, right? Halfway through the movie, there's a fucking horrendous, terrifying... the scene... the manner... Spielberg knows how to set up the environment for a horror scene. He knows he knows the speed he needs to film it at. He knows the lighting he needs to film it at. He knows the forms to unnerve you. This is part of some of the things that make him great at filmmaking by itself. And what makes us so fucking afraid of horror films, if you're not ones that choose to endure them for something, while, and remembering that we're also trying to appreciate someone's art and including the dark places they pull from, trying to teach us something that they saw or whatever, right? So, you've got the Fae abduction aspect of it. This movie had everything but fucking crop circles, right? So, the aliens show up in the field in the middle of the night. They've got the dancing lights. This is very Angels Be Not Afraid, which is where I'm getting to some of my next point. So, the ritual at the end to summon the fucking mothership at the end of this movie happens at fucking Devil's Tower. And then there are the ominous storm clouds, that of a storm deity that manifest and surround the plateauing peak of this monstrous, ancient, physical thing, right? We're talking about, the Devil's Tower itself gives you that sense of megalophobia, the fear of things of enormous size. And then after the mothership comes up, you've got more megalophobia. You've got cosmophobia with the paranormalness of the UFOs on top of that, who, they're terrifying because you feel the sense of the energy that vitalizes how they behave in a way that is so far beyond you that you don't know if they could just like vaporize you into nothing left but your soul trapped in an energy bottle. I don't know. Like, these are weird primordial thoughts that, I don't know, those come up to me whenever I see this kind of stuff. Those primordial fears, right? And those primordial fears, I promise you, are there with everybody. Whether it be because they saw this film or not, it's just because those elements together, whether it was this film or anything that's mimicked these things that are based on the reports. Anyway, so that's your fear of God right there, is the manner in which they can just abduct you like that. They could probably it's the feeling that they could soul separate you, which is the feeling I always get when I hear the stories about the Fae folks spiriting people away. So this is trouble. So, their summoning of the very threat to their existence, taking I guess a Reagan-esque approach to the idea that the military should branch out for peace or something. So I'm realizing that this is the reverse of Night on Bald Mountain. That's what we're looking at. This is Night on fucking Bald Mountain. The mothership is Baal, the bald one. That is his mountain. The horns are his crown, because he is a knight. Part of like a helmet, if you will. A horned helmet, because it's part of anti-pagan propaganda, as this dude being effectively the devil. Or at the very least, you could call him some sort of mountain Jotun, right? And then his fucking shadow conjures up the dead spirits. And then the dead spirits turn into various kinds of demons, both etherical demons and bestial demons, and just physical, like, mutant human-esque demons and stuff like that, doing their little dance and everything else. It's the Great Hunt, right? It's there's the allusion to Odin's Great Hunt on this, right? And so I find that interesting, right? And so as an allusion to Odin's Great Hunt, it actually, the storm cloud makes sense. And so you're just looking at it in reverse. They're not coming, the spirits are not being drawn up out of the ground. They are coalescing in the sky. And then coming down out of the clouds like angels. So that's what you're seeing in Close Encounters of the Third Kind, a science fictionalized demonstration of the government summoning, quote, demons, as the truthers may think of it, which is the thing that they're going to go with, right? There's going to be a clash of theological ideas between the emerging Christian Reich, who on an instinctive level are going to be correct because of the right-hand path aspects that are in there with what's wrong with what they are doing, which that this is causing too much erraticness, like human beings are driving themselves a little bit crazy, having this relationship. These are like, like we're having enough trouble with our physical border. Now we have to worry about our spiritual border, our energy border, right? Because we're talking about people coming into office that are true believers in aliens, and people coming into office that are true believers in angels. And so psychically, the war in heaven is percolating itself to act out in the psychic field. So the UFOs have come because somebody who is terrified of 2025 wants their savior. I have thought about that possibility, and I've worked very hard to not have that running in my unconscious. I'm very interested in that not being in my unconscious desires, because it's enticing, right? Disney fucking creates all these creatures, all these magical creatures that and there's always the version of that creature that is your friend. And that, deep down inside, works for every fucking kid. Because that kid is learning how to have a relationship with their daemons, with their ancestral guides, their spirit genius, and the fact that there are aspects of it that that need to be trained and conditioned. Right? There's a whole lot to go into with that. So anyway, so they got their cult members who are their human sacrifice. They're all wearing the sunglasses. Fucking Jim Jones. These guys are all going in the mothership to drink the fucking Kool-Aid. They got the goddamn fucking sunglasses on. They got the fucking uniform. Right? And who's the main character that goes? A guy who got indoctrinated into the cult through the manipulation of the witness, which was some sort of a manifestation of his inner unsatisfactory life, despite having a beautiful family and all this stuff, right? But he had to go and chase the fairies, the whim of fancy, playing on his imagination, and trying to be a hero, at least to his own family, who he doesn't think his family is safe with this tremendous freaking phenomenon happening. And being shocked by all the people calling him crazy for just saying, look, this is just my fucking witness, bro. Right? And so he indoctrinates himself and he goes to the fairy portal to be a willing fucking, quote, sacrifice. That's Close Encounters of the Third Kind, de-occulted. On that level, right? It's a science fictional esotericism of the same fucking thing that humans have always dealt with, and is probably one of the last steps in the consequences of ignoring your unconscious in times when the world around you has gotten harder. For a long time. And I mean the world. And you connected to it. Like the way everything all of a sudden became a big fucking deal in 2016. And all of a sudden 2016, all these fucking things started to fucking matter as issues to people. Every issue fucking flooded in. Every issue riding in on the fucking Trump political psychic effect. So anyway, it's going to be interesting with the psyops. It's going to be very interesting. Watch things in your own backyard as best you can. It's a pain in the ass. to be that paranoid. But if you look at people, like, just pay attention to at least a certain level if you're dependent on things, at least a tiny certain level. Or you could even just have a bug out bag ready and just assume that I guess everything's fine except for what I can't find out or don't want to bother to find out. Let me just have a bug out bag in case, because that'll be easier and I'm not that attached to this place. You got those two options for the future. Depends on how you feel about where you're nested right now. I'm much more in the bug out bag position because of just so many things that I would not hate being forced to leave. And, you know, because being forced to leave would be helpful, because then I would have some sympathy for, like, all of a sudden, oh, I don't live in the same place where I was paying my bills and whatnot, so, like, I kind of went under a situation, I needed grace period, yada, yada, yada. You know, people give you a grace period. It's like, I would do all sorts of things if I knew how to grace period. It's like, hey, come in here, you got 3 months to straighten your shit out, you don't worry about, like, paying rent. You can live here now. Right? You know, you're like, okay, cool. That's cool. I'll jump on that. Right? Because then I'm just taking care of, like, maybe personal travel. Depends. All sorts of things, quote, depend. And right now, I'm very much just working on my own personal ability. So anyway, that's just in case too many disasters have to be part of the PSYOPs. If we're lucky, we're just going to, like, watch a whole lot of people just, like, march into UFOs and go fucking have a magical experience. And hopefully they're not taking themselves out of a good place for their soul to actually be. Because, you know, I worry about people that want to dissolve into the selflessness. It's one thing to be selfless as, like, an ethical and moral principle. It's another thing to be selfless as your absolute conscious idea of thing. You know, because then again, because to me that's just saying, oh, I'm so unworthy compared to God, and I'm so sorry that I fucking left God. And God wanted you to leave to go have some fucking fun. That's it. He just wants you to have some fucking fun. You're going back to a primordial nesting idea. That's what all this fucking nirvana shit is. And this underlying principle is what tricks people back into cults. This is why I don't like anybody who needs a goddamn savior. And I don't like, you know, people that fucking, you know, worship the principles of men who were once living. Or men that we lied to had once existed. Anyway, I'll see you guys later.